Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we are currently in Shaaloani and want to do some side quests. I think we start here with Pafmapia and meeting the spirits. Welcome, traveler. I wonder if you are out exploring. You might be able to do me a small favor. There's a cave network nearby where my daughter has gone to offer her prayers, but she's forgotten the all-important fish oil candle. I would take it to her myself if I dreamt for a terrible pain in my foot. Or it hurts something fierce it does. Do you think you could give her this candle for me? Come on, let me out. Contemplative woman. Something I can help you with? I was asked to give you this. You came all the way to deliver this. I'm awfully grateful to you and to my mom for realizing I'd forgotten to bring a candle. You see, these caverns are sacred ground, where we come to pray to our ancestors and the more recently deceased. These flames provide the living a way to commune with the dead. Thanks to you, I can light a candle of my own and say a little prayer. Since you're here, maybe you could stand before the flames and offer a few words to your departed loved ones? Doesn't matter where you're from, all spirits are welcome here, living or dead. Folk have plenty of theories about what these images mean. Some think they're a record of what our ancestors saw in their day-to-day lives. Others think they might depict another world entirely. All I know is that my wife used to love coming here to look at them. That's the only thing that matters to me. I don't know. And back. Welcome back. I'm guessing you were able to find my daughter, no doubt in her usual spot? She never was one to do things the easy way. You know, as much of a stickler for tradition as she is, she actually works for a railroad company. Still, I've got to hand it to her. She managed to work toward a promising future without losing sight of her roots. I'm sure I'm proud of her, but don't tell her I said that, will you? Wouldn't want her getting a big head or nothing. Well, I'd say me and that daughter of mine have taken up enough of your time, but it was awfully nice meeting you. Thanks a million for helping us out. Good, and you had something. When the bill comes due. Say, aren't you the one who was stirring up a fuss in town not long ago? I could use a capable hand like yours, if you'd be willing to lend it. The name is Torn Zoe. I'm not from around here, truth be told. I live in Luvatenin Yavasam, but I'm here visiting my grandson. I was excited to see him after so long, when I spied him dealing with some unsavory-looking man, exchanging unusually large sums of money. I confronted him about what I saw, but he said little more than it's just a misunderstanding, and grumbled as he changes the subject. I realize this is sudden, but could you see if there's anything to be done to help him? He's in trouble, I just know it. Oh, a weight's been lifted off my heart. Bless you, miss. His name is Tsitekwa. Last I saw him, he was heading inside with your saloon. The turner after the red cap pulled over his face to cover those bruises, most like. You can miss him. Probably upstairs. And you're facing down, huh? What can I do for you? What can I do for you? Your father said you might need help. Thinks I'm in trouble, does he? There he goes, jumping to conclusions as usual. I thought it would be less of a hassle if I didn't tell them. Truth is, I've been helping other folks in town with their money troubles. Matter of fact, the man you saw leaving just a moment ago was one of my clients. Meaning? I should probably explain from the beginning. My work involves loaning gil to folk having trouble with coin for one reason or another. There's a reason I don't lend them Pell, but I'll get to that in a moment. My family's lived here long before there was ever a town here, but when people moved in they started expanding. Before long, Kimaka's family approached us about selling our land. It was around the time when trade overseas was gaining popularity. I had it in good authority that gil was on its way to becoming common currency here in the wilds, so I decided to sell the land for gil and use those funds to start my business. Sure enough, everything went as expected. The business is starting to do well. It's not without its troubles, seeing as money is involved, but I never lent to any unsavory types. Why not simply explain all this to your grandfather? The whole point of me keeping quiet is so I wouldn't make him worry. Seems my silence only made things worse. He found himself in a real tight corner once. Gil's what got him there, and now he wants nothing to do with the stuff. When I told him about my idea to sell the land, the moment Gil came out of my mouth, his whole mood turned sour. He said he'd put everything in my name, and whatever happens after that is on me. It's not exactly easy to bring up my work when it involves one thing he seems to hate more than anything, but maybe it's time I changed that. This job does more than just put food on the table. I'm able to help people, help this town, but how do I get him to see that? I got it. You've got to come and watch me work. Grandpa won't hear anything I have to say if it involves skill, but he might come around to a first-hand account from you, so come and see what good my work does for Husatavi and how I help the people here. He did send you here to help me, didn't he? I promise to make it worth your while. Alright. Right then, before we get started, I should probably know who it is I'm working with. Desiree Klingmore. Desiree, huh? Well, Desiree, our first job is to go and see a miner named Vakvaze. He had a pretty bad accident on the job a while back, had no money for treatment or much of anything really, so I loaned him the gil he needed to keep on his feet. But now it's well past time he returns what he owes. He hasn't said a word. There's been time enough for him to not only return back to work, but also receive his wages. Several times, in fact. He usually comes here into town when he's not working, and his shift ends soon. Meet me just outside of town. If we're lucky, we'll catch him just as he arrives. Explain yourself, Vakvaze. You're here for the money? I was gonna pay honest. Just make up the dates and it's all. Can we settle this later? I'm busy. I know you're lying, Blackvase, and you're not going anywhere until you can look me in the eye and tell me why you're late to paying me back. He's obviously hiding something, but I'm not looking to start trouble. I don't suppose there's anything you can do to persuade him? Maybe a little flex to show him mysterious? Oh god! Yeah, gods, look at those arms, those freakishly hardened neck muscles. Fine, fine, just put all of that away. It's all here, and with interest. If you had the money, why not go through all the trouble of avoiding me? When I was still a man, my lady friend took really good care of me, see? I wanted to buy her something fancy to thank her and, well... I understand, really I do, but if you really want to make her happy, you need to get your life together. I'm willing to give you a loan one last time. We're going to have a long talk about how to manage your savings first. You're right, what good am I to her if I'm out on the street without a gill or even a pell to my name? I'll give it some thought and we talk later. I can't blame him for wanting to show his appreciation to a loved one, but it's no excuse to get carried away with his spending. So what do you think of my job? The money I loaned him paid for his treatment and supported him through his recovery. That has to account for something, right? I'm still not convinced. Well, there's always our next client. When you're ready, we can be on our way. Broken record. Let's get back to it then. I should warn you, the next client I had in mind may be something of a hassle. He went off in the middle of the night and haven't seen hide nor hair of him since. Luckily for us, I heard from an acquaintance of mine that someone fitting this description has been seen lurking around the Yaktural Skygate. We're looking for a minstrel named Zemeshpe. Had Sarah with black hair about the same age as me and surprisingly shy. I'll meet you there. Zemeshpe has to be around here somewhere. It's only a matter of time before we find him. Sorry friend, I don't know anyone by that name, but before you go, you wouldn't happen to have a tuner, would you? I'm positively parched. This isn't the man you're looking for. So, Hetzaro. But it was that black hair, right? Startled Hetzaro. Huh? Who are you? Yes, I'm Zemeshpe, but what do you want with me? You found them. Nice work, Desiree. Zitekwa, what are you doing here? Looking for you. Word around town was you were in a hurry to leave the Yogg-Tural, but I'm afraid I can't let you leave just yet. You may not look it, but Zemeshpe is quite the popular minstrel in Usatawi. Or at least he was. Been what feels like an age since he last wrote a song, and you can only make so much singing the same old tune day in and day out. Zemeshpe came to me for help. I gladly offered him a loan. It should have been enough to help him get by until inspiration struck. But it hasn't, and with no money to pay you back, I panicked. Maybe if I sold my instruments, Those instruments are your livelihood. I can never ask you to do such a thing. Here, give me your hand. But I've had to return what I already owe. What you need is to meet new people, see new places, experience more of a world than just Husatawi. A minstrel's inspiration doesn't come from thin air, right? You're not wrong. All I could think about was how my songs weren't good enough anymore, how everyone was disappointed in me. My heart was so full with fear and anxiety, I guess there was no room left for music. So take that money and go to Yogg-Tural. And for the next month, I want you to travel. See everything there's to see. Find your muse and bring back the Zemeshpe we all know and love. Thank you, Sitekva. I won't let the skill go to waste, I swear it. What do you think? A job well done, wouldn't you say? Quite generous of you. What do you expect me to do? I'm not a monster. Besides, I see this as more of an investment for the future. There's still one last client left on my list. One more opportunity for you to learn about my work. Back on stage. Ready? Good. We're off to see a young dancer by the name of Tavmezi. She's pretty famous in Husatawi, with fans all across Shaaloani. It was a real shame that she had to quit on account of being so sick. The medicine she needed was expensive, to say the least, but I footed the bill. She reached out to me not long ago with the good news that she's not only fully recovered, but looking to start dancing again. There's going to be a comeback performance soon, but she asked me to stop by to discuss something beforehand. Can't imagine what, though. There's still plenty of time before she needs to make her first payment. In case, let's go and pay her a visit. She was so sickly and pale last I saw her. What a relief to see her doing well. Sitekva, it's so good to see you. Oh, you brought a friend. Well, let me get right to the point. I want you to help promote my upcoming show, and I want you to do it with dancing. Dancing? You can't be serious. A far more exciting alternative to standing idly passing around flyers, surely. I've seen how well you can dance after you've had a few drinks in the saloon. All the proceeds will go toward repaying my debt to you with interest. So the more people we are in attendance, the sooner you can be repaid in full. And your friend here, she's not from Tural, is she? I've no doubt she knows a step or two with the drawy eyes of passerbys. So what do you say? Well, friend, I hope you're wearing your dancer's shoes. We must go and dance with the good folk of Husatawi. Let's go and garner what interest we can in the show and meet her afterwards. Okay. I hope I'm getting paid. Up? Up, probably. What's all this now? If you want a drink, I suppose I can call the boys for a round or two. That's some mighty fine footwork we got there. Reminds me of Tamezi. And she's making a comeback. A comeback show, really? No time for drinking then. We best get ready for the show. I have a business with the Dust Watch. Apologies, miss, but we're off duty. But I suggest to speak with someone inside. Come on. Because I didn't do it with... Yeah, come. A dancer, huh? Not sure what we did to deserve this entertainment, but thank you. I'm promoting Devasi's... Oh, I see. I heard she retired after falling ill, but you say she's back and planning a performance. We certainly don't want to miss it. Come, guys. Something you need? I just finished buying my tuna, but I can spare some time before it needs to be stored. Goodness, what did I do to deserve this performance? The comeback performance of a famed dancer. I've never seen one of these shows before. It would make for a wonderful story to share when I return home. I have to stop by and see it. Everything all right? She's drawn quite a crowd. Even after all this time, her fans adore her. I may have gotten a little carried away with my dancing, but people seem to enjoy it, which hopefully means more people are attending the show. Seeing as we have time before the end of the show, now might be a good time to tell you more about how I started this business. I said my grandpa found himself in a tight corner once because of Gil. That was a long time ago, before selling our land, before I was even born. Even when Huatavi was little more than a sparse collection of shops, it still saw its fair share of tradesmen passing through. My father and grandpa made their living catching and selling game to them for Pell. Then one day, while trying to sell more game, a merchant told them that Gil would soon become the currency of choice in Shaaloani, that they'd be better off exchanging all their Pell for Gil. There was still time. Unable to see through the lies, they played into the scheme, trading away all their hard-earned Pell at horrible rates. With only a paltry sum of Gil left to their names, they were at a loss. When they met the woman who'd eventually be my mother. She was deeply moved by their plight, and so she lent them the money she had been saving to start a new life in Tuliolal. She can't put a price on such an act of selflessness, which is why, when they learned what the savings were for, they opened their home to her, and they could repay their debt. The three began a new life together. Years passed, and by the time the debt had been repaid, my parents had already fallen in love. It's a story my mother told me often as a child before bed, before they passed away. If not for my mother's kindness, I wouldn't be here. And all I've ever wanted was to follow in her footsteps. That's why I sold our land and started my business. I think your grandfather would understand if you told him. That's assuming you stopped to listen. Let's hear you come in. Well, I imagine it won't be longer before Tamezi is finished. A family's worth. Seems it'll be a while longer, so you don't have to wait here with me for Tamezi. Besides, isn't it about time you turn to speak with my grandfather? I think by now you've seen all there is to see of my work. I'm fairly sure I saw him over near the saloon, so go ahead and give him your honest thoughts about my work. You're back. Tell me too, traveler. What sort of trouble has my grandson been up to? No trouble, sir. Dealing in loans and swindling people out of a pill, I'm sure. Gods, I thought we wasted better than that. He just wants to carry on his parents' legacy. Two of the gentlest souls I know, and you say he means to follow in their footsteps? You said he's over at the dance hall, right? I made up my mind. I need to see what's become of my grandson with my own eyes. I need to know he's alright. Should be fine if I observe from a distance. Of course, these old bones don't move as fast as they used to. You go on ahead, I'll be right behind you. The show was a huge success, thanks in no small part to your help. Here, as promised. This is far more than what we agreed on. I can't accept this. Oh, don't be silly. I only wish I had more to offer. I could never have hoped to afford that medicine from Tulliola and had made peace with the consequences of that. Given what may sound. But you wouldn't hear it. You loaned me the money I needed for treatment, and here I am, taking the stage again. A dream come true in every sense of the word. You've given me a second chance at life, and for that, I'll be forever grateful. I think I've seen enough. Grandpa, what are you doing here? I wish to see what an upstanding individual my grandson's become, and thanks to the two of you, my heart is at ease. I carried so much resentment for those moneylenders, I assumed the worst when I heard about your job. I was blinded to the good you could do, the people you could help. Like your mother helped me and your father once upon a time. You reach out a hand to those who find themselves on the brink of ruin, and with the greatest of care, you pull them back. I suppose I do. But I'm sorry I didn't talk to you sooner. I was convinced that you'd be cross with me and didn't know how to broach the topic without upsetting you. Always so considerate. The town could stand to see a little more of that. I'd like to hear more about your job, if that's alright. After you finished work for the day, of course. Well, our business here is finished, so don't let me keep you. Go and put that extra gill I gave you to good use at the saloon. You're determined to see me keep it, aren't you? Well, I suppose Grandpa and I have a lot of catching up to do. You go on ahead to the saloon. I need to speak with Desiree for just a moment. Thank you again for all your help. I was more than a little shocked to see you here with Grandpa, but I'm glad we're finally able to talk. I owe you a great debt, Desiree, and I do my damnedest to try and repay it someday. If you ever find yourself having trouble with coin, I hope you think to call on me. Good, but I think with that I end this episode, and next time we play more Final Fantasy XIV. I'm Mace, and don't get lost.